Greetings, friends. The readings in Scripture this week has everything to do with persistence in prayer. Now, prayer is not what you think it is. In fact, prayer is not what you may even want it to be. When we see Jesus, when he's in prayer, and we know exactly what he's praying about, at the beginning of his life, it's during his temptation. 40 days of fasting. And who does he meet? The devil. You think that the last place the devil would be is in your prayer life. But we find Jesus praying again in Gethsemane. And we see there, in agony, he meets the devil again. Yes, prayer is not what we think it is. We like it to be the beatific vision, and there are times when that may happen. It doesn't happen to me, that's for sure, but there's saints who are in contemplative prayer and they're just lifted up, and they see all sorts of, and that's great, that's fine, but that's a very small part of it, even for the great saints. I mean, ask any of them in their writings, they say we can only take so much of that, our body can only take so much of that ecstasy, but prayer is really work. It really is, and am I happy with my prayer life? No, I'm not really. I mean, I wish I prayed more. You probably feel like you prayed more, and when we do pray, we kind of wish we'd pray better, right? But it is a struggle. Okay, it's a struggle, and prayer is also a gift. I found that in my life. What it really is, St. Augustine tells us that prayer is nothing more than desire. And Jesus tells us to be persistent. Because if we're persistent, that means we really want it. And Jesus is telling us that we get in this life what we want. And that's God. It's prayer. Desire. And so prayer is fighting through all the layers of self-absorption, and breaking through it to be free with God. And it's work. So there are many kinds of prayer. There's rosaries, there's Lectio Divina, praying through scriptures. There's prayers that are in regular intervals and times, hopefully every day, that you have a regular routine, because routine is good. There's good habits and there's bad habits, and prayer is a good habit. If you want to get rid of a bad habit, replace it with a good habit like prayer, like maybe not watching Netflix so much and setting aside time. I often suggest making a little prayer closet with a couple candles. That's a cool thing, because candles are conducive to the spirit of prayer. You light them, your prayer time begins, snuff them out, it ends. Have a little liturgy there, maybe open the Bible, maybe the breviary for the hours, praying the hours. There's just a whole lot of ways to pray, and not all of us can really be good at all of them. So don't feel like, oh no, I've got to do all these different kinds of things, and if I don't do it this way or this particular prayer, I'm a bad Catholic. No, Catholicism is very broad. There's lots of ways to pray and what works for you. So, anyways, prayer. Let's give ourselves over to a persistence. Let's do. Let's realize what it is, and we bravely work through it. I mean, after all, if prayer was easy and so delightful all the time, everybody would be doing it all the time, right? So it's work. But remember this: we get in this life what we most deeply desire. God bless.